How you going there? This is just part 2 in the restoration of a SNES Mini that's had a heaping bunch of crap mod work done to it. And here's the remnants of someone's mod job. That this customer paid about $250 for this console, 250 Australian dollars, which is what, about 210 US dollars. So it's by no means cheap. Holy crap. So I am in the process of removing the mod work, and most of it's done, and the next phase will be cleaning it and then doing rework the mod, and hopefully making it look really nice and neat, and more importantly functional. So just a couple of things to point out here. The first one, which is most concerning to me, is part of the Super CIC mod on a 1 chip is to lift pin 111 or 111 from the SCPU-N chip, as you can see this one here, and hopefully you can see it is missing a leg. That is leg 110. Now I have to re-look at it, but I do not believe that that pin is connected to anything, so it's probably not necessary, but I just wanted to get that pointed out. So the original modder did fuck it up and removed and broke that pin off. Unless it was intentional, but I don't know why anyone would do that. Another thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is the fragility of that leg there, 111. So what I'm going to do, what I'm thinking to counter, is to come in with a wire from this direction and solder close to the base or close to the chip here, and you know, that would minimize any stress on that leg. So that should be fine. Obviously it needs to be further cleaned up. And also I just want to give a bit of an example of, there was just crappy solder work everywhere. It was just absolute garbage. But here is the remnants of one of his solder jobs where he got the ground plane from. Hopefully that is showing. So it's like he's just come in with an incorrect solder tip and just kind of just tap the solder on there. It's just not good. And there's another example there. I did attempt to remove some of that solder. I will need to complete that. You can see those 3 points there. That's where he got 5 volts from. And yeah, and he's also scratched the motherboard too. So he's obviously etched away at that solder mask there and just gone a bit special and moved and slipped and just not done a good job. I shouldn't be too critical, but look at that. Why can't I be? It's just... oh. This is where the original CIC was. You'll note that it's missing some pads there. So it's missing pad 8 and 6. So that's gone. And also I noted that pad 2 was very loose. And you can see where he soldered directly into the vias. And another quick example of the terrible solder jobs there. Typical cold solder, it's just sit there like a ball and not very secure. And when I actually removed this, some of the wires just came straight off. But I do not have to use any of that other than cleaning it up. So I will obviously clean that up, and in fact if some of these solder pads are loose, I might just go ahead and remove them or just fasten them down a bit, because we don't want them to short each other out. We want to minimize any possible failures of this system. On the underside of the board, it still obviously needs a lot more of a clean. It's got the RGB here, this is where he's grabbed the RGB, which is correct, and C-Sync. And again, that was really bad soldering, but me actually heating the legs up and removing them improved the solder job, if you can believe that. And this is where he's obviously wired in RGB and then C-Sync. So yeah, I believe those ones there are ground. So I don't know, he must have got ground there to run the THS7314 video amplifier. But on the underside of the board, this is where I'm going to get all the alternate pads for the CIC, so fortunately I don't have to deal with that mess. Well, other than cleaning it up. So yeah, it's coming along, mate. think we should be able to resurrect this poor little guy. Let's take another look at that. And it's just... it's so bad it's impressive. I wonder if this guy is still selling consoles on eBay, because really he shouldn't be. I say he, I don't know if it's he, but I imagine it is a he. That. I'm not even going to bother try and resurrect any of these parts. I'm just going to bin it. In fact, it's binned. Cheers, mate.